joining me for part 5 of Yoga for Emotional Wellbeing online. Today we're inviting. So if you would like to invite something into your life, let's bring that energy in. Join me on the mat for today's series. Thanks for joining me. So let's focus on inviting something in together. Now you can choose what that is for you. If we take a moment and settle in here, perhaps we can hear the whispers of our heart and soul. So let's take a moment, let's take a few breaths. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, let's notice the breathing in and the breathing out. Maybe even tuning into where the air is passing in our lungs, in our nose, in our mouth. Just noticing. And consciously on the exhale, just letting it all go, trying to let go of the outside world here. So we want to tune into what our heart really desires today because we want to invite it in. We want to invite it into our practice, into our life, into our movement, into our breath. So your choice, just 1 or 2 words here. Find something that you want to embed into your practice. And let's do a slightly different type of tapping to tap that in. We're going to use like a little butterfly tap here. So just left, right taps. You can do it there or even on your legs if you prefer. We're going to do it softly and slowly because it's a positive feeling we're wishing to instill. We need to firstly establish what that feels like. So with your invitation for what you want in your practice and in your life today, think of a time when you really felt this feeling. What was happening? What were you doing? And more importantly, let's try and embody that. What does it feel like right now in your body to imagine yourself in that feeling? So when you've got it, you've got that image, I want you to think about how it feels in your body, what the sensations are, and let's slowly tap it in. And slow it down even further. We're going to notice what it feels like. Even the images and the thoughts connected with it are fine. And we're going to do slow left, right movements. Slowly tapping in the positive today, inviting it into our practice, into our life. So let's move as if that feeling is with us. So today's practice is mostly on the floor, so get comfy. We're going to be inviting this energy in the whole way through. So coming back here onto our sit bones, if you're not already, we're going to start with a butterfly. So feet are together, heels are together. They can be close in if that feels alright for you, or a bit further out is fine. So finding that comfortable spot, if that's a bit too strong, you can absolutely sit on an elevation of some kind to lift the hips for the hip flexors. So let's take a moment. Try and get the spine upright if you can. You may even need to lean back a little bit for this. But if you can lean forward just a touch to get that nice straight spine, great. Or support yourself in any way you can. And little butterfly wings flat. But if that doesn't feel great for you, let's just hold it there. And on the next inhale, you may even like to move a little bit further over the legs, over the toes. Doesn't have to be much, it's quite strong on the hips and the pelvis. And then on the next exhale, we just sink a little deeper. Lovely. Pushing yourself to come up. And a wide leg now. So we're really inviting in all the energy as we move today. I want you to move with your breath, with an awareness. It's a bit like a moving meditation, if you will. Put on some nice music in the background. Really get into the zen. So toes are flexed. Again, straight spine. Nice and tall. A little chuck of the chin here. And on the next inhale, let's go forwards. Exhale to sink a little deeper. Inhale to come up. And we'll do that once more. A little shake here. Nice and tall, nice and long. Exhale to fold. You may even choose to round the spine here and support yourself if you can reach. Exhale to go a little deeper. And support your weight to come up. So bringing the legs back together here, we're going to cross them into what we call a fire log. So a bit like cross leg, but we're actually going to tuck one leg a bit further in and the other one over the top here. So this here is eagle legs. Experiment with what feels okay for you, or you can do a fire log, which is the foot on top of the knee here, both toes are flexed. So either way it's quite strong. You may prefer that, or you may just want to go back to cross-legged, but we're just experimenting a little here with what feels good for you. And with the top bent leg, we're going to bend the opposite way. So whichever leg is on top, we're going to lean over and bend our side body, get some spaciousness and air in there. Exhale to go a little deeper as usual. Even lifting the chin and the elbow just a touch to get more air into those lungs and the ribs. And exhale, let's go the other way, but we're going to uncross and try our either eagle legs or fire log pose here. So the opposite way to bent leg once more. Exhale. Even lifting a little more to change where the movement and the air is flowing. Exhale back to center. Let's bring our legs into a normal cross position here. So easy pose, leaning back on our wrists. We're going to lift the pelvis and open up, really inviting that energy in. Should we try that one more time? Maybe a little counter stretch forward, leaning back on the hands. This is lovely to stretch out the wrists and also the shoulder blades. Lifting up, inhale, exhale, and coming back down. Nice. So coming down to one side here on the mat, just going in for a side plank straight up. So a little side plank here, lifting the side body. Exhale, come down into a neutral plank position. You can be on elbows or on your hands. And then we'll go the other way. So I'm doing a plank on elbows here. Find what feels okay for you. Back to center, and we're going to lay on down here for a little cobra. Laying down, toes can be tucked or flat, whatever works for you, and our hands are under our shoulders, and we're just going to look for length here, so length in the neck and spine, and we're going to reach up on the inhale, looking up just gently or straight ahead, and exhale to come down. We'll do that one more time, just looking for length, not necessarily height. Shoulders are away from the ears. And exhale. And let's tuck the toes here, widen the knees, ankles together and back into child's pose, reaching the hands in front. Like someone is opening up our shoulder blades, they're like rotating outwardly. Big breath. Beautiful. Don't forget to keep on bringing that energy in that you invited at the start of the class. So maybe a little wriggle here. We're going to try a little move called mermaid. I just love this pose for getting stretched and spaciousness in our side body. So mermaid is where we start in our little thunderbolt pose. So just on our knees here, if that's okay for you. I'm just going to slip to one side. Sort of looking like a mermaid here. So already you can probably feel that's quite strong on the hips. If this is too hard on your knees, you can stretch the legs out. But we're basically just reaching with one arm and then lifting the other arm overhead so that we get an extended stretch in our ribs, hips, side body. Breathe here for a few breaths. This feels good. Exhale to swap sides. So coming to center, reset, and then the other side. So stretching out that arm, and then the other arm comes over the top. So this is similar to the side stretch we did just before, except this is now including our pelvis and hips. Couple of breaths here. Wonderful mermaid pose. Back to center. Let's take a moment, reset, perhaps even trying to come up on both knees, so straightening the hips here. We're just going to lean back a little bit, maybe supporting the lower back, just a counter stretch on the hips, lifting the chin a little, chest a little. Lovely. We'll try that one more time, but we'll open out the arms. Inhale as you open and invite that energy in. Exhale to come forwards. And we'll do that one more time, but this time with cactus arms, which is the two right angles. Opening up the arms. Lovely. That should feel nice across the front of your body. Actually, it can feel nice anywhere. And exhale to come back down to hands and to our knees. So from this position, we're going to stretch our neck. Real slow and gentle here. Left to right movements with awareness and your breath. Back to center and try maybe even turning left to right, keeping that nice strength in the spine. Once more. And if you'd like to gently try a neck stretch, you can just really gently, keeping that shoulder down, just gently, so applying a little bit of pressure there. Breathe as you exhale tension. Go, and we'll go the other way, keeping that shoulder down. Lovely. Feeling spacious, maybe a few shoulder rolls here. And forwards. And let's come down on our side here. We're going to do a bit of a pose for our glutes. And we're going to just lie on one side here. You can support the neck up like this or down. It's your choice. Go with what feels okay on your neck. The knees are bent here in a little sort of V shape. And we're just going to lift the top leg like a clam. So the feet stay together and the knees and thighs come up in a little movement like that. So moving really slowly gets more benefit out of this. We're trying to keep the core on a little and the spine nice and straight. Lovely clam pose. Couple more. Nice and slow. Breathe as you move. Then on the next one, we're just going to keep the knee there, extend the leg, then touch the toe back to the other foot, and then close the clam. So do that again. Open, reach, toes touch, close the clam. Open, reach, toes touch, close the clam. Couple more. Keep it up. This should feel beautiful in working all the pelvis and glutes. Last one. And then we'll go the other side. So we're rolling onto our back. Resetting the spine, and we'll go the other way. So from here, support the neck in the way that feels right for you. It can be either. Keeping the core and spine straight, opening the clam, feeling that activation through all of the legs, pelvis, hips. Couple more, keep it going. And then we extend this time, toes touch, close the clam. Open, reach, toes touch, close the clam. Open, reach, close. Following along, keep it going. Breathe if you can. And rest. Coming back to center. Sorry to turn my back on you just then. So ankles come down to the ground, palms are making contact with the earth. Tuck the shoulders in, and we're just going to lift the hips into a bridge. Just a counter stretch and really notice what's happening in our body, all the heat that's starting to build, inviting that energy in. And exhale to round the spine to come down, and hugging knees into chest. So extending both legs down here. This is a really inviting pose when we're on the ground. It's like the universe is on top of us. And we're just going to lift one leg. And if you can reach here, we're going to flex the toes a little bit. We're just going to pull that leg towards you. If there is where it's at for you, that is fine. If you can take it further on the exhale, do so, but listen to your body. Be at peace wherever it is at. Inviting the intention you set at the beginning into your life, and we'll go the other way. So just allowing that toes are flexed, leg comes towards your body, however that looks. Maybe even going a little deeper on the exhale here. And letting go. Let's take a moment to reset. And bringing both knees up here. So they're sort of going to come up a bit stacked over each other. So the ankle is going to stack over the knees here. If you can reach your feet, that's great. Otherwise ankles is fine. But we're pulling the knees down for, not too hard, but for that hip opener here. So if you can grab the outside of your feet, fantastic. Happy baby pose. You can even do a little wiggle or an adjustment here, because this can be very vulnerable. We're inviting lots of energy in, right through all the chakras. And breathe. Taking a moment. And then letting go when that feels right. Firmly planting the heels and the toes. Let's make contact with the earth for one more bridge. So lifting the hips, even tucking the shoulders as we lift. Nice big breath here. Exhale to round and come back down. One more hug. Placing both feet on the ground. We're doing a reclined pigeon here just for some more hip opening and to really get spaciousness in our pelvis. So flexing and lifting one foot to come over the knee. You can stay right here if that feels all right for you, if that's opening out there, or you can lift the bottom leg towards you, keeping both feet flexed. You might even be able to reach the thigh and pull, and even like creating that openness with that leg and pulling the other thigh towards you. Lovely. Stay here for a few breaths. Reclined pigeon. Beautiful. Maybe even a little wriggle before we come out of it, because there's lots of muscles around that area that can get very tight. And we'll swap the other way. So foot comes over knee. You can push that knee out a little bit here, staying right there if that feels all right. Or lifting that bottom leg and reaching through the thigh, sort of even hinging that leg out with your elbow. And exhale, tension. One side might even feel different than another. Beautiful. And letting go. While we're here, let's move with our breath. So inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, arms come down. Moving with all that awareness and increasing the sensation in your body. Inhaling. Exhaling. And then as we bring one arm over the body here, just giving ourselves a shoulder stretch. So we're crossing those arms so that we can pull. So we're still keeping the spine on the ground, but we're pulling that arm across. Let's go the other way. So we cross over, pull that shoulder blade. Doesn't that feel good when we've got text neck and constantly sitting at computers every day? And letting go, placing the arms down. Now that we feel a little bit warm here, you might like to try rocking back and forward. So we're just lifting the knees and then you're lifting your butt basically off the ground. So just try a little rock, so you can even get a little bit of momentum if you like, by sort of shifting your weights. Rock. So we're sort of rocking back and forth here. Now if you feel quite good and the spine isn't hurting doing this, you can even do this a few times to warm up. You might like to come back into a shoulder stand, which is where we bring the hips up, and you can even support your hips here with your hands. That's probably the best way to do it so that we don't feel too vulnerable or shaky. Once you get even better, you can lift up higher. But if you just like the legs being bent and then supporting your hips here, that's fine too. It doesn't have to go all the way up. This is a beautiful counter stretch for your neck and your back. So go with what feels good for you. Inhaling and then exhaling to slide down. And we'll do one more rock to get out of this. So rock and up. Beautiful. So just rolling around here. I'm just going to flip around and come to a traditional plank pose. So from our knees, just going to lift those hips up, getting nice and long in the spine, long in the neck, feeling like even our calves sort of stretch in this lovely strong pose. Our core is on, we're nice and straight, feeling really solid here. A couple of breaths. And we're just going to do a little push up to the ground, elbows in, push up to the ground. Untuck the toes here. And we're going to counter stretch our spine with a bow pose. So you can do alternate arms and legs here, or you can try the full bow pose by just lifting our back, bending our legs, and we're grabbing our feet and then just pushing some weight into those arms and hands. And you can almost feel the body moving with your breath here. It's a nice big breath. Completely the opposite movement to what we just did, so it's lovely and releasing, and then letting go, taking rest for a moment. Hands under shoulders. Let's Lift the hips and the shoulders, rounding the shoulders, lift the hips, down dog. Just for a moment here, maybe even pedaling the legs, getting into that lovely triangle shape. Bending the knees will make the hips go higher and the head come down under the armpits a little more. So finding that lovely position where you feel it's actually a rest position. It's quite rejuvenating. It's very healthy to have our heart above our head. Creates all sorts of benefits for our immune system, vascular health. A couple of breaths. And then looking towards our hands coming forward here, we're just going to find our plank position once more, and then we're going to open up again to a side plank. So rolling onto the sides of the feet and onto the sides of the body here. And if you feel really stable, you might like to step back behind you and try a wild thing. So this is a lovely arch, reaching out to the universe, really inviting everything in here, and coming back to our plank. And we'll try that the other way. So nice and strong, over to the sides of the feet, stretching out here. And if you feel really stable, step behind the leg and then reach. It's like another next level openness here, inviting all that energy in. That is wild thing, half wild thing. Knees come down, hands under shoulders, tabletop. Just taking a deliberate breath here. Wasn't that fun? And coming down on our elbows. So just coming down on our elbows here. See if you can try doing the downward dog shape, except we're on our elbows. So hands can be firmly planted in the ground. I'm going to tuck the toes, lift the hips. Once more, look at that. Dolphin pose. Back to plank on our elbows, and we'll try that once more. Lift the hips. Down dog, but on our elbows basically. And coming back down. Giving yourself a little smile here. Inviting it in. And from here, another little fancy challenge for you, since we're bringing in all the good energy today. If you would like to try lifting one leg, keeping it bent, but keeping quite stable in the spine, and then maybe even reaching over with opposite arm, sort of like the bow pose we did, but we're in tabletop. Lovely. Slowly returning with control. We'll try the other way. Lifting that back leg, bent, opposite arm reaches around and pushes in, almost stretching the quad as well as we do it, strengthening the spine and coming back down. And while we're here, we're going to do a little twist. So open twist here, and then thread the needle underneath. Once more, stretching the shoulder blades, lifting up, coming back down. Try the other side. Open up, little open twist. Thread the needle under the armpit there. Bring the head down if you can. Forehead to ground. And coming back up. Stretching out. Hand comes down. Tabletop once more, nice and neutral. So from here, just sitting back a little, we're going to lift one leg up. And we're going to find a bit of a hip stretch there. You can go all the way forward into that deep runner's stretch if you like. You can even lift the back leg. And we're going to plant the hand and do a twist. That feels good on the spine, on the shoulder blades. Hand comes down, foot comes back, sit back and we'll swap. Find the hip opener here, where that feels nice. Plant the hand, even lift the back leg if that feels okay for you. And we're twisting towards the bent knee. Looking straight ahead or up to the sky, whatever feels okay for your neck. And coming back down. Feet come together, back to all fours once more. And we're going to swing the legs around here. Just flip it around, feet come forward. Finding our stick pose here, so once more it's an active stretch. Our toes are flexed a little bit. You can put something under knees if it's not great on knees here, or elevate the hips, because this is actually quite strong even though it looks simple. So inhale and arms up. Look up a little. Exhale, forward fold over these legs of ours. Exhale to round the spine a little bit more. You might even go a bit deeper if you're really gentle on yourself on the exhale. Hard it out. If you can't breathe softly, just let it all go. And support your weight to come up. Tucking one leg in here. Just going to do the same movement except with one leg in and one thigh out, so it's like a half butterfly. Again, put something under here if that doesn't feel too strong. Lifting the spine, looking towards the foot. Inhale to lift up, exhale to fold over the straight leg, keeping our sternum sort of facing towards the knee here. Exhale. Similar but different. Should feel like the hips are gaining some spaciousness in this stretch too. Exhale. Supporting your weight to come up. If you'd like to complete the twist, we're going to lift that foot. Elbow or hand comes over the knee that's bent. I'm just going to do a little twist and look over the back shoulder here. Inviting it all in. Again, just notice that little twist goes deeper on the exhale. Cleansing, detoxifying. Look to the front to untwist. And we'll swap. Bring the opposite leg into the thigh. Sternum facing the knee and the foot. Inhale. Exhale. Wherever your hands, that's fine. Just a soft gaze. Exhale to round and go a little deeper. Lovely. Pushing up, supporting yourself to come up, lifting that knee, bringing it forward, getting set on our sit bones here. Either elbow or hand is fine for the twist. And looking over the back shoulder. Exhale to twist a little deeper. On the next inhale, we look to the front to untwist. Beautiful. Maybe a little wriggle, a little shake. And then sliding forward, coming down on our back here. And final spinal twist before Shavasana, because it always feels so good to wring out all that tension. Maybe even just a left and right windshield wipers before we do the twist. That feels good too. And then lifting both legs up here, so we're in a nice little square, bringing them in as far as feels good. And we're just going to drop, so having it both arms out in a T shape, we're just going to drop our knees and thighs over to one side here. Obviously the shoulder will come off the ground a little bit, but we're trying to keep it as flat as possible. And then just let gravity do its job. If you want to deepen the stretch, you can lift that top leg out. And exhale. Back together, lifting those knees up. And we'll go the other way. The shoulder will come up a little bit, but let gravity do its thing. Exhale. Let's bring both legs up with control. Maybe a little hug here. I'm just going to let both legs out. Let the ankles hang out, feet will hang loose. Maybe tuck the shoulders back a little bit. Let the arms hang out receptively, and remembering what you invited in. Let's embody that once more as we really tune into the breath. Notice the points of contact with the floor and allow your body to sink a little deeper, letting it all go. If thoughts intrude, just be compassionate and kind and return to your intention that you're inviting in, your breath or your body, or maybe even the sounds inside and out. Staying here for a good 10-20 breaths, 10 minutes if you can. This is where we reap the rewards. And I will roll over to my preferred side and sit up and wish you well, but I hope you stay there for as long as you can, because that's where the magic happens. Namaste.